One. So, I know.
Yeah, I got a,
So I should just give
you
him
got a
paper?
goofy one coming. Yeah, give him paper. Just give him
Okay.
paper for today. You got him all excited, man.
Yeah, they're a, you know what? You know what? I tell you, it's amazing how each school, there is a mm-hmm. Oh, that's all right.
Good morning, boys and girls. This morning we have a guest with us, and this guest has been to other schools. He's going to tell us some certain things about ourselves that we possibly didn't know. He's going to make you a better person, and you're going to be a better person as a result of being here. Surprise to all of you, he went to Harding. He's a graduate of Harding Elementary. He's a very successful businessman in Troy. He speaks to high schools, junior high schools, and elementary schools. Boys and girls, let's give Mr. Don Tocco a Harding welcome.
Whoa! Thank you, Mr. Kubicki, for that very kind introduction. And thank you for that warm Harding welcome. I am very excited about being here with you this morning, not just this morning, but for the next following 5 Tuesday mornings. I'd like to find out something real fast, however, in our communication. You know, communication is something that goes on between two people or more. I'd like to find out right now exactly how you're feeling. So would you please tell me when I say, how do you feel? Just explain, just express yourself. Tell me how you feel. How do you feel? Excellent, good. Here, I'm writing it down. Let's have it one more time because I only heard about maybe a third of the voices. How do you feel?
Excellent!
Well, I guess you guys are already where I'd like you to be, so I'm going home now. Does anybody feel a little bit tired?
Yes.
All right, here, just say, here we got, first of all, let's put, we got excellent, we had good, we got a couple folks in here that are feeling tired. How else do you feel? Who feels different than excellent, good, or tired? Does anybody, yes. How do you feel?
Good.
How do you feel?
Weird.
You feel weird. See, that's different, isn't it? That's different. Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Funny.
Funny. Okay, funny. I don't know where to put that, on the positive, negative side. Let's put the funny over here. I've never heard that before. Anybody else feel different than what we see right here? How do you feel? Great. Okay, great. Well, good, great, excellent. Okay, that's certainly on this side here. Okay. Yes.
Cool.
Cool. Okay. Yes, how do you feel?
Fine.
Fine. Let me ask you a question. Another question. For those of you that feel all these good things and a couple of you that are tired, how many would like to feel even better than you feel right now? Just about everyone. You know there's a way to do that. Let me explain this to you. Abraham Lincoln. Who knows who Abraham Lincoln was? Who was he? He was a president. Who knows which president he was? Yes. He was the 16th president of the United States of America. And do you know what he said that has endured these many years? He said, every person is just about as happy as they set their mind to be. That means that it's not up to your parents. It's not up to your teachers. It shouldn't depend on the weather. It shouldn't depend on what TV programs are on tonight or what's happening in the world as to how you feel. How you feel is dependent on how you would like to feel. So just to demonstrate this, because a lot of you agree that you'd like to feel a little better than you mentioned a moment ago, I'm going to ask you to respond when I say, how do you feel? I'm going to ask you to respond, terrific. Let's give it a try. How do you feel?
Terrific!
Okay, now remember this is your life. With great feeling. Now one more time. How do you feel?
Terrific!
Ooh, you learned fast. Now that I know you're feeling better this morning, we can go on. I want you to tune in this morning on the next 5 Tuesdays to what should become your favorite radio station of the future. called WIFM. Ooh, who's heard of WIFM? Anybody? A couple of you think you have. Well, WIFM is radio station What's in It for Me. I want you to know that I am here. The Harding School is prepared and I permitted this program for you. So I want you to tune into What's in This for Me, because there's so many exciting things that are going to happen over the next 5-6 weeks. My number one reason for being here, number one reason, is to encourage you to seek what the Greeks call arete. How many here would like to learn a foreign language? Then pronounce with me this word. It is arete. One more time. Arete. Arete means to become the best possible you compared to no one else. Now think about that for just a moment. For you to become the best possible you compared to no one else. Why is it so important that we not compare ourselves with other people? What can happen if we compare ourselves with other people? Because aren't people different than we are? Perhaps we can become angry. What if somebody is a little stronger than we are? We can become jealous. If we perceive someone looks a little different than we are, we can become angry, jealous, stressful. What are some reasons? Come on, I need your help here. What are some reasons we shouldn't compare ourselves with others? Anybody? Any thoughts on that? Did you know that God made us all different for the very reason that we could all learn how to get along with each other? If He would have wanted us to be the same, He would have made us out of cookie cutters. And everybody would have the same name. Everybody would look exactly the same. Everybody would have to go to the bathroom at the same time. Imagine that. Everybody would want to order the same food in a restaurant. Everybody would want to watch the same TV program. Wouldn't it be what kind of a funny world it would be if you looked around and saw somebody looked exactly like you, and before you could say something, they said exactly the same thing as you were thinking? Wouldn't it be boring? Well, here's the beautiful part about being different. We can all excel. I'd like you to take your piece of paper. I'd like you to write the word down, arete. Put this down, becoming the best possible you. Open to your first page, write down arete, A-R-A-T-A, becoming the best possible you. Compared to nobody else. Becoming the best possible you compared to nobody else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Your teacher will make sure that you have it. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Your teacher will make sure that you have this down. She'll give you time to work on it a little later. Okay? So turn to the next page. Well, actually, you're going to have a little room on this page. Let me see your paper. Okay. About halfway down, I'd like you to think about these things right here. Reasons that you should not compare yourself with other people. No one else is like you. Look around. Look around. Is anybody else like you? No. Oh, they've got heads on their shoulders, I know. They have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 legs, 2 arms. And not everybody has that. But most people in this room are your peers, and they are like you. Some have glasses, some don't. Some of them have their hair in ponytails, some don't. Some have brown hair, some have blonde hair. So you see, everybody is different. No one else is like you, and that's wonderful. You and I, we can all excel at something. You have talents, gifts, skills, abilities. You don't know what they are yet, but you will learn about them in the coming weeks and your years in school. I want you to write these things down. You don't have to do it right now. Your teachers will give you the opportunity to write them down later, and then you can talk about them. But here are some of the things we talked about why we should not compare ourselves with other people. We are always changing. We are always changing. There's something about yourself that you don't like, you can change it. I made a list of the reasons that I'm going to be here with you. The things we're going to concentrate on over the next 5-6 weeks. They are to help you realize the importance of having a positive attitude, to help you discover your likes, abilities, talents, and skills, to learn the value of enthusiasm. I'd like to share with you just a moment a story about a friend of mine who lives on the east side. How many here, and you can stop writing now and copy this later, how many here have heard of Mr. Joe Girard? Anyone? Mr. Joe Girard is the only man in the Guinness Book of World Records as the greatest salesman in the whole world. Now, what did Mr. Girard do to earn the title of the greatest salesman in the world? Not 1, but 12 years in a row. What he did was sell on the average of 6 cars every single working day for 12 years in a row. Sold 6 cars on the average every single working day, 12 years in a row. And he's written 3 best-selling books. When I met Joe back in 1979, how many were born after 1979? Yes, yes. That does put things in perspective, doesn't it? Well, when I met Joe, after several meetings, I felt confident enough to ask him. I felt confident enough to ask Mr. Girard. I said, Joe, I said, how did you do it? How did you sell 6 cars on the average every single working day, 12 years in a row? I said, did you have some deal worked out with General Motors Corporation where they gave you a special deal on a car and you were able to sell it cheaper to other people? He said, no, Don. He said, that's not what they bought. They didn't buy price. He says, actually, they could have actually got the car cheaper from some other people. I said, Joe, then what was it that they bought? He said, Don, they bought my enthusiasm. I said, now, wait a minute, Joe. I said, what you're telling me then is that you were enthused every day. He said, that's right. I said, Joe, how did you do it? He said, what I used to do, Don, is get up in the morning, and before I would go into the garage, there was a big full-length mirror on the garage door, exiting into the garage. And I would look at myself in that mirror, and I'd have my suit on, and I'd ask myself 2 questions. Question number 1, do you look like the kind of person that I'd want to buy a car from today? Oh, he said the answer was always yes. Handsome devil that I am. And then he would ask himself this question. He said, I would ask myself, do I have the magic of enthusiasm working for me today? You see, the answer wasn't always yes. He said, when it wasn't yes, he said, I would give myself a pep talk. And before I tell you what that pep talk was, I'd like you to put your pencils down. Thank you very much. We'll copy this in a minute. Bless their hearts. These are very good students, because when they had a job to do, they wanted to get that job done. I gave them a job of getting these things written down, and they wanted to get that done. But I also lost their attention, so now I have your attention. I appreciate having you back. Nice to have you back with me. Here is what Mr. Joe Girard, the world's greatest salesman, said to himself every morning before he went out into the world to face people. He'd look at himself in that full-length mirror and he'd say, I feel good. I feel great. Look out, world. I'm coming out one more time. Woo. Yeah, now. How did you start your morning? Oh, hey, what? How many looked outside and said, is it raining or snowing out there? Ooh, is it gray? Ooh, it's a Tuesday. What is a Tuesday worth? I got to go to school today? I got to study today? Yeah. How many here would like to take a hand in their own destiny, their own future, and have some control about their future and develop exciting, worthwhile lives? Could I see a show of hands? Wow, one of the great ways to do that. Congratulations. Put your hands down. One of the ways to do that is to give yourself a pep talk in the morning. How about if we do that together? How about if we just try this morning Mr. Gerard's pep talk? How many are willing to try it? All right, those willing to try, here we go. I feel good. I feel great. Look out, world. I'm coming out one more time. Oh, that's very good. That's very good. Okay. So, Mr. Tocco is going to talk more about the value of enthusiasm. I'm going to teach you about the importance of becoming persistent in everything that you do. How to develop more courage and be concerned less about fear. And the difference between real fear and false fear, which is mostly our imagination. We're going to actually learn how to like school even more. How many believe they can do that? How many love school? How many hate school? Oh boy, Stan, we got a job cut out for ourselves. I think we can do it. You know what? We're going to work on looking for the best in other people, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. My young friends, it is time now to get to know a little bit more about each other. My name is Mr. Tocco. Can we all say that?
Mr. Tocco.
Thank you. That's very good. Now, I have you at an advantage, and that is that you know who I am, or I guess I should say you have me at an advantage. You know who I am, but I don't know who you are. So could I ask you to do this, please? I'd like everyone's attention. I'd like your utmost courtesy now, because we're going to do something very important. I'm going to ask you, one at a time, to tell me what your name is. I need you to be very clear so that I can understand, so that I can try to remember. Now, your name is who you are recognized as, and it is very important. So when your friends are saying their name, I would like you to always be as courteous as possible. And what table would like to start first? Well, okay. Why don't we just do it systematically, and let's start right here. What is your name?
Tiffany.
First and last name?
Tiffany and Monica.
Tiffany, thank you. Now, I did not give you any instruction on how to say your name, but there is a way that you can say it so you'll be certain that people hear it. And it's called the pause, part, and punch. So you say your first name, pause, let a little separation be in there, and then punch your last name, such as this. Let me explain. My name is Don Tocco. Now, of course, you're not going to say that. All right, so let's start again here, Tiffany. So let's see if we can practice that, and let's see if we can get a little better at it as we go around, because it takes time to get better, doesn't it? You can't expect to excel in 15 minutes. You have to, what's the word starts with a P? What's the word? To be good at something, you have to what?
Pause.
Well, yes, but you have to do something else.
Punch.
Yes, but when you are going to be good at something, you have to do it over and over, and that's called what? Right, it's called practice. Very good. So here we go.
Tiffany and Monica.
Outstanding. Let's give her some appreciation for that. She set the stage. She has set the stage for us, okay? My name is, now say it like this, my name is?
My name is Joshua and Tocco.
Joshua. Outstanding. Here we go.
My name is Scott and Betty.
Excellent, Scott. You guys are doing fantastic. Yes.
My name is Shane and Foley.
Good, Shane. Did you notice how everybody is saying their name and then they're pausing? This is excellent. Yes.
My name is Nathan Shona.
Good, Nathan. Yes.
My name is Chris and Crouch.
Chris, excellent. Thank you, Christopher. Yes.
My name is Courtney Radicke.
Courtney, thank you.
My name is Tony Pino.
Tony, very good. I'm really impressed. I'm telling you, I'm really impressed, okay? How about if we go to this table?
My name is Chad Boyd Leonard.
Thanks, Chad.
My name is Keisha
Okay, Keith.
Schmidt.
Excellent, Keith. Now, could I ask you to do just one more thing? Maybe raise the volume just a little bit. Here we go.
Anthony C. Talaga.
Good, Anthony.
Andy Stephen Enrichment.
Good. Pause, part, and punch, Andy. Yes.
Andrea. My name is Andrea A. Paul.
Excellent. Andrea? Yes.
My name is Robert Everton.
Robert. Very good.
My name is Elizabeth Lincoln.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
My name is Melissa. My name is Melissa Alexander.
Good, Melissa. Gosh, you guys are doing great. This table. Let's start right here. Yes.
My name is Crystal Gazal.
Ooh, a little bit slower, Crystal.
My name is Crystal Gazal.
Excellent, Crystal. Now, you see, here's the thing. Why do I ask you to say your first name, pause, and then punch your last name? The reason is that someday, you know what might happen? You might be in a board of directors meeting with a great idea that could change the whole course of a corporation. And the chairman is at the other end, and when you jump up to give your idea, and you say your name and you go, my name is Gus Johnson, and then you give your idea, the chairman may have heard the idea, but he won't know your name. He may want to give you a big bonus, maybe $10,000. He may want to send you to Europe for all expenses paid vacation because of your idea. But he's going to go to himself, what was their name? So you see the importance of saying your name loud and clear is because you want everybody to know when you say it who you are. Okay, let's just continue on here. Yes.
My name is Angela Flint.
Okay, good, Angela.
My name is Amber Kaiserman.
Amber. Thanks, Amber.
My name is
Crystal.
Crystal Rose. My name is Samantha.
Good, Samantha. Good pause in there.
My name is Tracy Goodman.
Tracy. Good. Goodman. Yes.
My name is Stevens.
Thanks, Amy. Okay.
My name is Cindy Wood.
Cindy Wood. Okay.
My name is Nick Boyd.
Good, Nick. All right.
My name is Michael Dix.
Thanks, Michael. We know that it's right on your shirt, isn't it? Yes.
My name is Jennifer.
Thanks, Jennifer.
My name is Mary Bishop.
Uh-huh. Thanks, Mary.
My name is Tom Reskowski.
All right, Tom. Good man. Yes.
My name is Mark.
Okay, Mark.
My name is Stephen Abercrombie.
Oh, wait. Stephen, hang on one second. I cannot be hearing any voices, can I? I'm sure nobody's talking in this room while people are giving their name. I didn't think so. I'm sorry. It must have been my imagination. Okay.
My name is Stephen Abercrombie.
Thank you, Stephen.
My name is Jason Miller.
Good, Jason.
My name is Amber Rhodes.
Amber, you guys are doing fantastic. Yes, this table.
Ronnie Williams.
Ronnie, we know that, don't we? We met earlier, didn't we? Okay, yes.
My name is Christy Finchini.
Okay, Christy, thank you. Nicole? Okay.
My name is Veronica.
Veronica, good.
My name is Sarah Martel.
Okay, that's good. That's not a funny name, but it's getting a nice smile there, don't you? Yeah. Okay.
My name is Scott Ling.
Good, Scott.
My name is Bert Kegley.
Bert, thanks, Bert. Thanks, Beverly.
My name is Amy Martin.
Amy, very good. What is your first name? Edith. Thank you, Edith. Adam, thank you very much. Did we get all the students? I think we did. Let's give yourselves some appreciation this morning. You were outstanding. Excellent. But you know, wouldn't it be nice to know, just for the record, who our teachers are here today, who the adults who are here in present company and who care about you, and because of them, we could all be together today? Could we have them give us their names?
My name is Stanley Kubicki.
Thank you, Mr. Quibicki.
My name is Jeannie H. Tutag.
Thank you, Mrs. Tutag.
My name is Mary L. Jeremiah.
Thank you, Mrs. Haramiel.
My name is Barbara J. Ryan.
Thank you, Mrs. Ryan. Now let's give them some appreciation. All right. You know, this is our first day, and I don't want to overstate, but I do want to tell you I'm very proud of you because you have all, you've been so polite so far, you've jumped right in, everyone has been willing to cooperate, and you know what? It's not easy doing what you just did. Did you know, in fact, adults have quite a bit of fear around getting up in front of a group or saying their name in front of a group or giving an idea in front of a group of people? So consider yourselves having done excellent. If I were giving grades this morning, I will tell you that everyone would get an A. Now, how many would like to know a little bit more about Mr. Tocco when he was 9? Oh, that's very kind of you. Well, you know, last night and a few days ago, I was thinking about living right here in Warren, Michigan. You know, I had so much fun thinking back when I was 9. I lived on Packard. How many know where Packard is at? That's pretty good. It's right here. It's a street right behind us. And I lived 3 doors over, so I didn't have very far to get to school, did I? Boy, I used to sleep to the last minute. Some days, when I wanted to sleep in, I could do that and jump up and I'd be dressed in here in 5 minutes. But you know what? I had a habit other days of getting up with my dad. And he used to get up about 6 o'clock in the morning. I like getting up at 6 in the morning in the summertime especially. Now, I had no brothers or sisters, but I had a dog. Yeah. Her name was Duchess, and she was a German Shepherd, and she had one ear that flopped down forward. She had some problem with her ear. And I played baseball here at the school. We had a little team, and I think, Mr. Kubicki, the backstop was right out here, wasn't it? Yes. Is that gone now?
On the far end, it was on the far end. Yes, it's gone.
It is gone. Well, the backstop was right here. Right on this spot where we used to stay, where we're standing now, sitting now, whichever the case may be, we used to play baseball. This would have been the equivalent of right field. And I bought myself a baseball glove, a 3-fingered leather glove. I cut grass, raked leaves, and shoveled snow and saved my money for a year. And it was $8.45 for this leather glove. Well, I oiled it down, put a baseball in it, and I used to, you know, for a few hours there, I got that glove loosened up and practiced with it a couple of days. Then I came in from practice, and I set that glove right on a little stand in the utility room where Duchess used to sleep. Well, I went to school, and I came in an afternoon to practice right here in this field here, and my glove was gone. And I said to my mother, I said, Ma, I said, where's my glove? And she said, you know, mothers can be. Well, the last time I used it, I forgot where I put it. And I knew she was kidding me that she hadn't seen the glove. Well, I started looking around the utility room, and do you know what I saw? All I saw was what was left of my glove, and it was just the thumb. And Duchess ate the rest of the glove. I wanted to choke her. But I loved her. Remember, I didn't have any brothers or sisters, so I kind of liked my dog quite a bit. So I had to borrow other people's gloves for another year till I could afford another glove. We had 17 cats. 17 cats. Now, they lived outside. Don't get the wrong idea. They lived outside. I used to feed them. I'd open that can, I'd put some boots and call, kitty, 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 kitty. And they'd come from everywhere. It was really something to see. When I was in your grade, Mr. Murphy was my teacher. And he was a good teacher, and I wasn't a real good student. I have to be honest with you. You know that one thing Mr. Tocco is going to be here with you is to be very honest. And I was not what you would classify as an exemplary student. And I remember one day Tom Shane and I were at the back of the class, and we were talking, and we got Mr. Murphy upset. And he looked back at us. He was Irish. And his face started to turn a deep crimson red. And I knew that we were in big trouble. And what Mr. Murphy did was, at that point, he said, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And he jumped out of his chair, and he ran back there where Tom and I were at, and he grabbed our chairs like this, and he literally drug us both right out into the hall. I tell you, we were so scared. Whew, man, sorry about that, guys. And but you know what? I had more respect for him after that. I had more respect. My best friends were Ron and Don Whitaker, and they lived right in the house across the street, right on the corner of Packard and Peters, right there. I got my first bike when I was 9. It was a Roadmaster, and it was too big for me. It was like climbing on a huge horse, you know. And I drove down the driveway. I was so proud. I mean, it was a beauty. I drove down the driveway, got to the end of the driveway, went to turn it, turned it too far, and fell. Finally grew into it. And you know what? Hey, you know who I liked in the 4th grade? I had a crush on Judy Malone. Yeah, she sat right next to me. She was pretty cute. But you know, we never did talk much because I was too shy. I used to get an allowance. How many here get an allowance? How many get $1 or more a week? How many get less than $1 a week? My allowance was 25 cents a week. Now, how many think I was shortchanged? So I tell my mother when I see her tonight or tomorrow that I told her that it wasn't enough. Every Saturday afternoon, my friends and I used to go to the movies up at Motor City Theater, which was at the corner of 9 Mile and Van Dyke, which is torn down now. We used to see the monster movies. The Thing, Them, It Came from the Planet X. Man, I tell you, I used to not sleep at all a lot of times. And you know, a lot of times, like when I go in my room at night and close the door, I'd be in the room all by myself, and I had to walk over to the bed. I never walked over to the bed and got into it. I would walk up close to the bed and I would jump because I didn't want what was underneath the bed to get me, you know? Yeah. You know what my favorite TV program was? You'd never guess. Walt Disney. Walt Disney. Is that yours? Hey, some things never change, all right? That's great. I used to have to go to bed at 9 o'clock. Guys, some of you go to bed 8, 9? Yeah. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. I used to have to do the dishes from the time I was 8 to 18. A guy. I had to do the dish. I had dishwater hands by the time I was 12.
My brother can do dishes.
Huh? Who? You do dishes? Your brother? How many guys have to do the dishes at night? Any of you guys? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think that's good though. I was pretty happy. I was a pretty happy kid. You know what I liked about the weather? I love the change of seasons in Michigan. How many like the change of seasons? You like that? Yeah. My favorite sports were baseball, basketball, and ice skating. My favorite days of the year, my favorite 2 days were Christmas and my birthday. Is that about the same now? Anybody any different? Anybody like Halloween instead? How many like Halloween more than Christmas? Anybody? How many like birthdays more than Halloween? Yeah, okay, it's about the same like that too. Yeah. You know what I went to church every Sunday? I went to Ascension. You know where that's at?
Yeah, I play baseball.
Yeah, you play ball there? Yeah.
I play baseball.
I used to live right here and have to walk all the way to Ascension. When I was 7 years old, my mother made me start to walk to Ascension. All the way back. I almost froze my feet off one time. Because you know why? Because I wouldn't wear my boots. I said, if I'm not wearing my boots, I'm wearing my Buster Browns, forget the boots. I almost froze my feet off. My very favorite season of all the seasons was autumn. Boy, I used to love to see the leaves changing color. And I didn't mind school. I didn't mind school. I kind of liked it. You know what my biggest fear was? Who has fears in here? Anybody have fears? What's your fear? Chris? Yeah, that's a fear. That's enough to scare you. You've been watching too much television. Yeah, what's your fear? Something's going to be under your bed. So you and I had the same fear then? What's your fear, Mark? You too. Something underneath your bed? Yeah, you don't want to reach under there for something that you forgot, right? Might grab you by the arm. Uh-oh. Man, uh-oh. Heights. She's afraid of heights? How about over here? What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid I'm gonna fall off the bed.
Fall off the bed? All right. Well, that's possible. Jennifer? If somebody's talking, one of your friends is talking now, please. Thank you. Okay, you got to be careful when you're doing something like that. Well, I'll tell you what, my biggest fear when I was your age was that my parents might get divorced. And that my grandparents might die. My grandmother and my grandfather might die. And sometimes I wake up crying at night thinking about my grandparents because I loved them a great deal. And you know what's funny? My parents did get a divorce. It did, and it's actually worked out pretty good because they didn't get along very well. And my grandparents are 89, and God love them, they're still with us. Now, Grandma's not doing very well. I'm going to be honest with you, she's not doing very well right now. I'm pretty worried about her right now, but we'll see what happens. Now, nobody could ever guess no one could ever guess my favorite food. No. I mean, you don't even try. What do you think?
Seafood?
No. Pizza, no. No. Chicken, no. Lasagna. Oh, I like lasagna now. When I was your age, my favorite food? No. Spaghetti, no. Ribs? Oh, I like ribs now. No. Goulash, no. Tom? No. I told you guys to never guess it. No. My favorite food was liver. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I told you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Liver, rice, and peas. Oh, it was great. You know my favorite subject was? No. No. Yes, who said spelling? Right on, Ronnie. My favorite subject was spelling. And you know what? When I was your age, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I became an adult. How many here have some idea what they think they like to do when they become an adult? Really? You guys think you already know what you like to do? What? Give me some ideas real quick. What would you like to do? A cop. Oh, your friends are talking here. Shh. Remember, when your friends are speaking, Mr. Tocco will not get upset if you talk a little bit when I'm talking. But when one of your friends, one of your classmates is talking, now that'll upset me because I want you to hear what they have to say. Okay, where I'm asking you, what do you think you'd like to do when you grow up? We had a cop, a corporate lawyer, all right. Well, maybe we'll hire you someday, Token Associates. Yes. A veterinarian, all right. That's the first thing I thought about, was being a vet, yes. A scientist, excellent, wow. A veterinarian also, yes. You love animals, huh? Sure, yes. A fireman, good.
Computer job.
Computer work, yes. Carpenter, good. A singer, you guys got what a variety of things, yes. What is it? A nurse. Oh, we need lots of good nurses, don't we? Teacher, and my gosh, such an important thing, such an important dedication. Yes. A doctor. Whew. Excellent, yes. An artist, beautiful. You know what I've never seen in class is so many divergent interests in plans, yes. A lawyer, yes. Singer, good. A vet, yes. Okay, what else? A baseball player, all right. Take those one-hoppers. Can you handle those one-hoppers? Okay, yes. Lawyer, yes. Artist, good. A rapper. Rap, rap, rap. Known as the rapper. Yes, yes. Football player, why not? Veterinarian, good. A taxpayer. You know, I think we're all going to be that, aren't we? Let's give her some appreciation for originality. To the IRS. To the IRS, we have a taxpayer. All right. Yes, that's good. Yes. A cop, a police person, yes, yes. A salesperson, all right, a salesperson like Mr. Tocco, yes. A computer technician, yes.
A boxer.
A boxer. Okay?
You took mine.
He did. You guys both going to be boxers sitting next to each other. Let's break those two up right there.
Hockey player.
A hockey player. Boy, I'll tell you what, you got some very exciting plans for yourselves. That's wonderful. You know what? Do you know what? I want to tell you something very important now. You can become precisely what you said you would like to become if you want to bad enough. Because in order for you to, you must use the single greatest power you possess. And who knows what the single greatest power they possess is? What do you think it is? Anyone? What do you think it might be?
Bomb.
No. Brain? No. It's part of the brain? Yes?
Learning.
Learning. It's part of learning. The single greatest power that you and your parents and Mr. Kubicki and Mrs. Tutak and Mrs. Ryan, that we all have, Pat, the cameraman there, the greatest power we possess is the power to choose. It is the power to decide. I have an instinct here this morning that a lot of you decided what you were going to wear this morning. I have an instinct that a lot of you decided what time you chose to get up. I have also an awareness that while you're in this room, guess what? It's your choice. It's your choice whether or not you want to pay attention, whether you want to participate, whether you want to be courteous. It is your choice. And what you will do in your lives is very much going to be your choice. It's a tremendous power. It is the single greatest power that we possess. It's a gift from God, and it's also a gift of living in America. Because in many nations around the world, people do not have a lot of choices. The choices are made for them by the government. I want to encourage you over the next 5 weeks to make choices for the better. We're going to be making some changes and some choices for the better. I said to you earlier, I believe that I can encourage you to like school even more. And in order to like school, you and I need to learn how to understand the importance of homework and learn how to like it. Because it is a critical, vital part of our future and our planning and our learning. Because you can only learn so much when you're in this school. But you can even learn more when you leave, when you go home, when you study your subjects. When you walk in this room, there's a tremendous amount of knowledge on these walls, in the books. So I'm going to encourage you to choose to make choices for the better. In the area of your home and family, I'm going to encourage you to get along better with your brothers and sisters, with your fellow students, with your teachers, with your parents. I'm going to encourage you, we're going to talk about drugs and alcohol and cigarettes. I'm going to encourage you to exercise the single greatest power you possess by saying no, thank you to those kind of elements. Because the only test that you ever have to pass in life is called the guy in the glass test. And I'm going to share that with you. How many would like to hear a poem this morning? Here it is. Called the Guy in the Glass Test poem. When you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, then go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that guy has to say. For it isn't your mother or your father or your teachers or your brothers or sisters whose judgment on you must pass. The guy whose verdict that counts most in your life is that guy staring back from the glass. Now, he's the one to please. Never mind all the rest. He's with you clean to the end, and you've passed your most dangerous and difficult test if the guy in the glass is your friend. Now, you may be like Jack Horner and chisel a plum and think you're a wonderful guy, but the guy in the glass says you're a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. You may fool this whole world down a pathway of years and get pats in the back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartaches and tears if you've cheated the guy in the glass. So we want to become best friends with that person that we're going to see the rest of our lives. When we get up in the morning and throw a little water in our face, we want to look in that mirror and say, "Good morning, my friend. It's good to see a smile on your face." And by developing a positive attitude, which is another part of our being together, what will that mean to you over the long haul? Think what you said a moment ago about the careers, the jobs that you might be interested in having. There were two men, and I'd like to give you this illustration. It's a story. There were two men who were working on a railroad over 100 years ago. And they were working out in Arizona on a stretch of the railroad. And it was, Mrs. Tuateg, I'd say it was probably 115 degrees that day. It was brutal out there. Sometimes it gets to be 120, you're right. And these two men were driving these big, long spikes with sledgehammers down into the tie. Boom! To hold that rail in place so when the train came by, it wouldn't fall off the tracks. There was a young man. He was 19. And there was an older man. He was 65. And they were perspiring in the afternoon sun there in the Arizona desert. And all of a sudden, the older man went like this to the young man. The young man looked up. He said, "What is it?" He said, "A train is coming." Ooh. So they stepped back off the track. And he looked up, and way off in the distance, by golly, there was a train. And the engine was jet black and shiny in the sunlight. And there were 3 orange passenger cars and the red caboose. And they stood there because they didn't really get a chance to see anybody very often. They stood there and they watched this train approach. And it went past. And as it went past, 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars. And there, standing on the back of the caboose, leaning against the railing, like this, was a tall, distinguished-looking, silver-haired gentleman with a dark suit on. And the older fellow on the track looked up and he said, "Hello, Frank! Frank, how are you?" And the man in the back of the train looked back. He said, "Hello, Sam. Sam, it's good to see you." And the train went off in the distance the other direction. And Sam, who was standing there by the tracks, kept his eyes right on that gentleman until the train was out of sight. Well, the young fellow standing next to him couldn't stand any longer. He said, "Sam." He said, "Sam, who was that?" Sam said, "Don't you know? That was the president of this railroad." "Oh," he said, "how do you know the president?" Oh, he said, "Why, 45 years ago, he and I started working together on the very same job. In fact, the same job that you and I are doing today." Oh, and the young man said, "Well, what happened, Sam?" He said, "How come he's president and you're still doing this same labor job all these years?" Sam said, "Well, I thought about that, and I finally came up with the answer not long ago." He said, "You see, 45 years ago, when I went to work for the railroad, I went to work for $1.50 a week, and he went to work to become president of the railroad." So he was a man with a vision, with a goal, with a plan. He had faith in himself. The president had a lot of the right thoughts and the right attitudes, and he set a course, and he stuck with that course. And you know what he did? Every day he didn't just go to work. He gave his very best. He thought about it before he got there. He did his best job, and he thought about when he left. He always went above and beyond the call of duty. And when I say to you, my young friends here at Harding, you Harding Bulldogs, we Harding Bulldogs, when I say to you that your future is up to you, I mean it literally. It is your choice. When you get to be my age, which is not that old, what will you be doing with your life? You will be doing what you plan to be doing when you start planning right now. What I'd like to encourage you to do is I'd like to encourage you to think bigger than you've ever thought before over these next 5 or 6 weeks. I'd like to give an example. How many like to hear a joke? Mr. Tocco has some fantastic jokes. Let me warn you. And nobody likes them better than I do. There was a young fellow, 9 years old, sitting on a curb. It was a sunny morning. It was the summertime. And next to him on the curb was a little dirty dog. And stuck in the ground was a sign that said, "Dog for sale, 25 cents." And a businessman was walking by. And he saw this little fellow sitting there, and he said, "Son," he said, "I noticed that you're selling your dog this morning for 25 cents. Little fellow looked at me and said, "Yeah, mister, yes, I am." Businessman said, "Son, may I suggest to you, why not think bigger?" He says, "Why, he looks like it could be a white dog. Why not go in the house and give him a good bubble bath? Put a big red bow around his neck, and why, son, think big. Ask for more money." And the little guy looked at me and said, "Mister," he said, "that's a good idea." And he grabbed up his dog and the little sign and he ran in the house, and the businessman went to work. And the next day the businessman came by and a little fellow was sitting on the curb with his dog. It was a white dog, and he had a big red bow around his neck, and there was a sign stuck in the ground that said, "Dog for sale, $10,000. Wow. Yeah. So you see, young friends, it doesn't cost any more to think big. What you think about your life, once you think about your future with bright and wonderful thoughts of possibilities, of travel, of success, of good grades, of lots of friends, of health, of helping other people, of caring about your mother and your father, your brothers, your sisters, your teachers, the people in this room, your classmates. How do we begin that journey? We've already begun that journey because you are going to begin to seek to become the best possible you. What's the Greek word together? Orete. Everybody together? Orete. With one great voice, the word is orete. Yes, to become the best possible you compared to nobody else. Here's how it happens. Don't write anything down. Put your pencils down. Repeat after me. First comes a thought, which is followed by a word, that leads to an action, which forms a habit, that develops a character, which results in a destiny. Let me explain this to you. In all of your life, this moment on, everything that will happen to you and I will begin with a thought. Let me give you a thought. Homework. You have an opinion about it. Your opinion may be good or bad. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know about your opinion right now. But the thought is homework. You have a feeling and an opinion about it. You express that thought and opinion with words. There are words in your head right now. Words are this. Yes, I know about homework. I do homework. I'm not that crazy about it, but I do it. I don't like homework. I don't do it. I won't do it. Homework, yuck. Homework, it's okay. Homework, yeah, hey, it's great. I know I have to do it. Whatever your opinion is now could be changed because we're talking about something exceedingly vital. Now, that leads to an action. The thought is homework. The words are how you feel about them. The action is whether you do it or whether you don't do it. A habit forms. Either the habit is to do it or the habit is not to do it. If the habit is not to do it, we get big problems. Because in life we get paid for what we know. That leads to a character. You become either an intelligent person or an ignorant person by using the single greatest power you possess, which is the power to what? Everybody together? The single greatest power you possess is the power to, what is it? Choose. The power to choose. Everybody together? It's the power to choose. It's your choice. Homework, doing it, not doing it, liking it, not liking it is your choice. Develops a character, which results in a destiny. What you will be doing when you get to be Mr. Tocco's age will be determined very much by the choices that you make today. I want you to memorize this for your homework. I'm going to give you copies of it. I'm also going to give you copies of the guy in the glass test, which I recited a few moments ago. Now, we've covered a lot of things today. It's been great. You have been wonderful. I cannot tell you how much I'm looking forward to coming back the next 5 weeks because nothing would thrill me more than to know that I helped you today and in your future because I feel like we're friends from the old neighborhood. I feel like we're friends. I'm going to ask you to memorize the statement of wisdom. I'm going to ask you to write down the things that we have seen here, the reasons why we shouldn't compare ourselves with other people. I would like to ask you to please give yourself a pep talk, Mr. Gerard's pep talk, every morning until I come back next Tuesday. So we know what the pep talk is one more time. Everybody together with me. I feel good. I feel great. Look out, world. I'm coming out one more time. Whew, man. Now we're going to have a contest. We're going to close a little contest. It's going to be this side of the room against this side of the room in some healthy competition. This side of the room is going to be the alerts. You're going to say, I'm alert. This side is going to say, I'm alive. I want to see who is more alert, who's more alive. Here we go. I'm alert. I'm alive.
I'm alert! I'm alive! I'm alert! I'm alive!
And the winner is, it's a tie. Give yourself some appreciation. You've been great. I'll see you next week.